If only I could turn back time.
Hello everybody, my name is Jinx Gaming, but of course you already know that, so welcome back to the channel. And if you don't know that, then my name's Jinx Gaming. Welcome. I understand, by the way, that for the last 4 or 5 days my intro's been a slightly little bit worded differently every time. Does that make sense in itself? Who cares? Who knows? My intro has been different. I've just been experimenting, see how I like it being said or whatever, and then you never know, I'll make a decision soon. As you can see from the title, we're back, and it is amazing. Welcome to a new episode of Speke Speaks. I'm not sure what episode this is. I'm sure I'll put it up on screen now, and you'll see from the title. But it's been a while since I've obviously done this, and as you can see here, we're like having FIFA 19 in the background. I'm not going to be playing. I should probably get into the match so I can start talking. We're literally just going to watch. Apparently I get to do this, but we're watching an FA Cup final that I've just literally put together between Arsenal and Chelsea. So we'll be watching the AI play that. Now, as you can see, the reason that it's taken so long is because I've had to been thinking of different topics to do, on ones that are like good enough and sufficient enough that I can talk about for quite a few minutes and get in depth about, and then, you know, go on to something else. So I'm not 100% sure what the title's going to be, because obviously the layout of my title is always Speke Speaks Episode or whatever, and then I put, you know, 2 or 3 different things that we'll be talking about in the episode. So I do have 3 things, but obviously depending on how in depth I go into 1 or 2 of them, depends if we get on to the 3rd thing or not. So the first point I just want to talk about is just about this series really, and the future of it and different stuff like that. So obviously I've said in other live streams before, halfway through live streams, but obviously you just never know how many people are going to see that, especially when, you know, for example for me, I have like 2-hour live streams and different stuff like that, and I'm saying it like an hour and a half in. You know, you think, you know, how many people hear that, you know what I mean? So this is why I'm so sorry if you know, you're an avid viewer and you watch it all the time, if I sound like I'm repeating. But for the people that just click on it for the title, I'm just going to go into it in more detail. So pretty much I've already just said this, like, obviously it's taken a while since I've done a video, but I am, and also as well, like the first like 6 episodes of Speke Speaks were all on a different game. First like 5 videos or 6 videos were all on a different game that were being played in the background as well, apart from the most recent episode which I went and played back on Rocket League. I think that was episode 8. It was when I was talking about, it's the one that's called Cam's Video Games, etc. It's that one. Now the thing is, that's almost why I was waiting for COD and FIFA to come out. I knew I wanted to wait, so I had the next 2 episodes would be on different videos. So obviously this is why this is on FIFA 19. The next Speke Speaks episode, whenever it comes out, will be on COD, and then obviously I'll have to maybe do 1 or 2 episodes again in between, where I 1 or 2 episodes in between doing on other games and alternating and stuff, and then if I get another game I'll do it on that. I mean, I can even do it on like free games that come out, like you know, the free games, do you know what I mean, of the month for PlayStation. So I could always do it on that. So obviously that is another reason why, as well as, you know, not 100% knowing what to talk about. Okay, sorry about that jump cut, guys. obviously, as you can see from the time at the top corner, top left corner, we haven't missed that much. But you may have heard in that last clip, just then before I cut, there was a bit of a noise in the background, so I had to go and just so I see that was, so apologies for that. But and now I'm probably lost my train of thought, which is great, which is what you don't want in a Speke Speaks video. So yeah, so that is one of the reasons why, that is definitely one of the reasons why it has been a while, because obviously not having like a game, I didn't want to do it on the same game all the time, and you know, along with the whole trying to think of a few good subjects and topics to talk about, you know, so those were the two main reasons. And I don't know, just ever since, you know, and I never like stopped it. I know a lot of people thought I wasn't going to do one again because it had been so long, but like I always planned on doing more. You know, it was like the first proper series on my channel. Like, yeah, when I first started off, I know I had like Fortnite with the noob, but it wasn't the greatest. It didn't do the best, so I, like after 3 episodes in, I decided to, you know, drop that. So Speke Speaks, even, you know, it was just always there, and it was so good for me. I think I sort of, what's the word, I have a lot of thanks, and I owe a lot to this series, just because it sort of got me going. It sort of brought me out my shell doing this, just playing games. Obviously, like when I played like Rocket League with my friends or whatever, that helped as well, because I was more in a natural zone and just talking with them, and do you know what I mean? So, but this definitely helped a lot, so it always had a special place to me, and I wasn't never gonna end it. I mean, for as long as I do YouTube, you know, heaven knows how long I'm going to be doing this for, how professional it might get in the future. Fingers crossed, see how far it takes us. But I don't know, I just think for as long as I do this YouTube, this series will always be going, do you know what I mean? You know, a lot like with other YouTubers, they always have like a reading comment section, or they used to. A lot less YouTubers do it now, but there is like a few of the OG YouTubers that are still going. They do it a lot less often, but there is still they still do it, you know. The series isn't dead and buried, because it means, you know, a lot, almost like an interaction. So this is my version of a reading comments, you know, and you never know when if I'm not going to say when, because I mean at the minute I'm already so happy with where I am at the minute, but if, you know, I do get more popular and a little bit bigger on YouTube, and I start getting regular comments in from maybe people that aren't even just people that know me, you know, then I'll start a reading comment section then, so, or reading your thoughts, and that'll be cool, because obviously that goes with my whole outro thing. So you never know. So yeah, that's just to clear up that, like, this isn't like a final episode or anything, or it hasn't gone anywhere, or, you know. But it will be, obviously, as you can tell from the gap between the last one and this one, they will be a lot less frequent. Obviously, before when I first started off, I was doing one every 3-4 days. You know, that was because back then, if you don't know, only the OGs will know this, but my channel used to just be called Jinx, and then Dash, Rocket League and Fortnite channel, because that's all I played, with the odd game here and there. So because obviously I was only playing those 2 games, and you know, some days I'd get really bored of Fortnite, or some days I'd get so tired of Rocket League, so it'd leave me like 4 days where I'd only be playing one game, but I'm like, I can't just do that game for so many days in a row, not just for the views at home, people watching that get bored, but also for my sanity. So, you know, there came a lot more frequent speaks back then, because it was a chance for me to, one, play another game, you know, one that I didn't even have to concentrate on playing, even though sometimes you could argue I was very unprofessional. I spoke more about what was going on in the game than actually what I was meant to be talking about, and yeah, so it was a much more common, obviously, this series, but ever since FIFA 19's came out, and I don't know, I've been I changed to gaming where I allowed myself to play other games, and if you remember about a month ago, I was doing my Fortnite, the end of my road trip series. Obviously Fortnite we don't play on the channel anymore, but as that was going on I was obviously focused on getting that complete, and then FIFA 19 came out and we did all those streams on FIFA 19. Black Ops has obviously just recently came out. There was updates on Rocket League. I just didn't have the time, and I don't know. And I think because as well I discovered SHAREfactory and started using SHAREfactory a lot more. I didn't obviously every video that's on my channel that's like of a game has my intro on it. Not everyone, but a lot of them now in like the last month and a half, ever since I had that that whole Jinx gaming intro.
If only I could turn back time.
Yeah, that almost to keep me on course. I'm gonna aim to do this series once a month if possible. That is going to be my goal, to do this at least once a month. I'm not saying I can't do it more. I don't know if I've ever spoke about this, like the origins of me getting on YouTube, which is another thing I do want to talk about. Like, people ask me like what inspired me and different stuff like that, or why did I start going daily, and it was literally because if you go to the first video where I started daily, I think I have 3 videos on my channel which are all spaced between a month and aren't very good. And then I have like a video, Rocket League debates, 9 seconds long, 95 views, something like that, I think. And I think it just, obviously I was in the context behind it. I don't know if I've ever spoke about the video before really, but obviously the context behind it was I was in threes with 2 people that I play Rocket League on, two of my online friends that I play Rocket League on. You've seen them on all my videos before, Flames of Fire and Jackson. They've made many appearances on my channel in plenty of different games as well. And my friend was going for, we were all talking, and my friend was going for the ball, and he's quite an aggressive player. Sometimes when he doesn't know it, but he can be too aggressive, and he complains at other people for cutting rotations or whatever and going back when they should, when he'll be driving back and he sees the ball and he does not think of who's behind him, and he turns, because obviously in all fairness he is the best attacker and he probably can score the most goals and he is the biggest threat, but it doesn't mean it leads him to go into the ball quite a lot. No, it's not ball chase, I don't really want to say, but I'm sure if you play Rocket League you'll sort of understand, and if you've seen the video you'll sort of know what I mean. And obviously there's this ball that's pinged up against there, and I think he took a shot on target and then he was coming back because he knew what they're going to go in, and then the 3 defenders sort of had like the 3 defenders on the other team didn't really clear it properly. Cleared it in front of, like, just outside the box, and I was like rotating with him. I was coming past the halfway line, and I saw the ball coming towards me. He must have had ball cam on, so he saw this ball he was closer to the ball, but obviously once again he was on a sideways angle and he was meant to be going the opposite direction. So he sees it, he turns around and he flies the ball sideways to try and get a 50-50 with the defender, just so the defender can't clear it, because he doesn't know I'm there way before the other defender of the other team about to put a shot on target and most likely score. So obviously he turns, and then that's when the video came from. It starts off, he turns and he just goes for the ball, and I'm like, oh, it's me, and then he hits it and it clears out of the way, and I go, that was me, what you doing? And he's like, oh, you didn't say it. And he's like, nah, you didn't say anything, and you said it when I hit the ball or whatever. And I was like, oh no, I didn't. And then basically that's how it ends. And after that clip there's lots of like arguments that we have about it after, but I just wanted like that little like clip in there almost. And I wasn't even planning on doing a video, but we argued that much that I left the party and I really was like adamant that I was right. I was like, what on earth can I do? I was like, do I have any video clips anyway? Because I've heard of these things called video clips before, It's like, let me have a look if it got it. Like I said, my PlayStation recorded like the last 60 minutes of gameplay, and I had to like shut it down and find it and like get these like 9 seconds or whatever. I was like, you know what, you can't send video clips through message on PlayStation. So I was like, what am I gonna do? I'll make a YouTube video, and no one will see it, and I'll just tag him in it. I'll say like, call it Rocket League debate or whatever, because that's what we had, a debate, an argument almost. And I'll tag him in it, and I'll show him the video, see what he says, and then all of a sudden, you know, obviously not 95 because that's what it's on now, but loads of people saw it. I think within the first day it got something like 30 views, which was mad. Like, and like 2 people or 3 people had like commented on it, and like really in depth, and I thought, and you know, we still never really resolved it. Really, we agreed to disagree, like, yeah, okay, whatever. It didn't really matter, we won the game in the end, so that was sort of the main reason that drove us to just putting it behind us. So, and just after that, I just had this passion. I was like, oh man, this is so cool. Like, even though, you know, at the time I'd had like 3 subscribers when I put this up, and I had like 30 people see it, and all from like people from the Rocket League community, and a few people commented on it. And obviously I wasn't expecting like every single video I was going to get these many views for like no reason, but I was like, I want to do this more, just even having like an interaction with somebody, whether they like it or whether they agree or disagree. Obviously not every video has an agree or disagree factor, but whether they liked it or disliked it, you know, it didn't matter. The Speke Speaks video, especially the last 2 where I spoke about more serious like topics like mental health and therapists and different stuff like that, I think one of them's got like 35 views, something like that. You know, I've had people come to me saying that it, you know, ever since you do your Speke Speaks video, it doesn't matter if you do you know, a long FIFA stream or Rocket League stream, you know, you've inspired someone to enjoy your content because of this other side that you've got to yourself, this really in-depth, detailed. I just love the interaction. People were like, you know, someone the other day, their YouTube app was acting a little bit weird, or their, you know, their phone, they were looking at videos on my channel and they were trying to find the Speke Speaks, and they were like coming to me and asking like, yo, send me the link to the Speke Speaks video, like I want to watch it. So going on to my next thing, why October is my least favourite month, and as you can see for the title, that is literally because of one reason and one reason only: the last day of it. Hallow friggin' Ween. I despise Halloween, which is an unpopular opinion, especially for a teen my age as well. Like, I know a lot of teenagers absolutely love Halloween. I hate it with a fury passion, and that is why purely October is my least favourite month. Now, this topic is going to be filled with a lot of stories over why. If you really love it that much and you really want to try and push your cause out, I just advise maybe clicking off, because you might get quite tilted at just how much I just hate Halloween and how much I despise it and how much I slate it in these next, you know, maybe 10 minutes. So I hate Halloween. Like, I literally don't, as little as possible, I leave the house as little as possible, apart from to school. I don't really leave the house at all during Halloween. I go on social media a lot less, and that is honestly why, guys, like, there's been 2 times during this month where my video hasn't came out literally until 11:45, because I'm just in a terrible mood, if I'm being honest, like, during the whole of this month, and that's why, like, a lot of my videos haven't been the greatest of standard, and that's why I've not been performing very well in like FIFA. And even though I don't think it, like, looking back, it just always has an overhanging feel. I just subconsciously know it's October, which subconsciously I know it means it's close to Halloween, and everybody loves it, and anything can happen at any second in terms of something I see on the internet or, you know, social media or anything. So it just makes everything worse. So that's why, like, a lot of the times I've not streamed until later on, and then some of my streams have only been like an hour because then I've had to go for other personal different reasons and stuff like that. And then obviously I haven't done, you know, the other day when I did my my favourite films video, and I also did my video about the just 1 week away. You know, they were very videos because I was short videos because I just wasn't in the mood all day because it was October. It just left this glooming feel on me that I was like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to sit, watch content on YouTube that I know I feel safe and surrounded by. I don't want to leave. Like, I would go on a place on the internet, a section of YouTube that I trusted and really enjoyed, and I'd just stay there, and I didn't want to really go on a video game. I didn't play that much. Every time I was on a video game this month so far, you've seen it pretty much, like 95% of my game experience this month has been on YouTube, and it's on YouTube obviously right now on my channel. So I just hate the month, honestly, and it's because I just, you know, the last 3 years, Chelsea winning, by the way, 5-3, what a final. The last, I'd say it's been worse these last 2 years. Like, when I was a kid, pretty much this is my story. Basically, I've spoke about it in, I think it was the second ever video of Speke Speaks, the second episode. I speak about my hatred for spiders. If you don't know, and you're fairly new watching this, I have a critical case of arachnophobia. That I just do. Okay, you know, I see spiders. They can be really, really small, and I feel like almost fainting or passing out or screaming and going to the other end of the country because I hate them that much with a passion. And obviously Halloween, I'm not saying obviously I'm special and I'm different or whatever, because a lot of people don't like spiders, and I know it is a thing that people just don't like. So obviously when Halloween comes around and people are trying to be a little bit creepy and a little bit spooky, spiders are one of the main fronts of Halloween, one of the main poster boys, if you will. You know, you think of Halloween and you do think of spiders. You know, somebody's designing a poster or whatever for Halloween, or, you know, what's instantly going to be there? Probably spiders, because a lot of people don't like it. Obviously a lot of people don't hate them like me, but they are a little bit creeped out and they're like, ooh, spiders are very spooky. Do you know what I mean? That's most people's reactions. Whereas me, every time I see a drawing, a cartoon, anything of a spider, whether I see it in real life, a cardboard cutout and it's tiny, I literally freak and I hate it. And it just, that is one of the reasons, I'm not going to lie, why I hate Halloween. That's how it started off, my hatred anyway. Now it's a little bit different, but it started off literally because pretty much Halloween, there's spiders everywhere. Do you know what I mean? That's one of the reasons I don't leave the house apart from to school, because you can't go into a shop or in a village without them having fake spiders that you can buy and sell. And that is literally the main reason you go into a cooperative or you go into any shop where they sell, you know, multiple different things. You know, mainly not food shops, like shops that are primarily for food, not necessarily, but you go to shops, you know, that sell a bit of everything. They always have, as soon as you go in, like a Halloween section of masks and stuff, and on the bottom are all different types of spiders, remote control ones, just big fluffy ones, tarantulas, do you know what I mean? And even saying the word, I get creeps and chills down like my arms and everything, because I absolutely despise them. And that is like the main reason I hate Halloween, because the closer you get to Halloween, as soon as the month starts, Halloween decorations go up in shops and stuff, which means spiders start showing up in shops and stuff. And as I said, I see a spider and sometimes I literally want to pass out or die or go the other end of the country. So the less I can feel like that, the better. So what do? I stay in the house. You know, when I was a lot younger, even though I hated spiders, I never noticed it as much, and so I did used to have Halloween parties, but I still wasn't keen on it. Every time my nan would make food that was exclusively for Halloween, like she'd made these sausages. I remember one time exclusively, she made these sausages, but she made them look like a dead person's fingers. just because of the thought of it, I just wanted to throw up, and I wanted to be sick so much because I absolutely hated it. And I could not eat it at all. You know, it's the same with jelly. If it's made to look like slime, nah, can't do it. Do you know what I mean? Anything that's got, even if I've got a plate that's all orange and like black and sort of got like pumpkins on and stuff like that, if there's just regular food on it, don't want to eat it. You know, and it's the same with if I have face paint on. I'm not even talking about Halloween now, to be fair, but it's obviously mainly at Halloween. But if I don't mind face paint just in general, but if I have face paint, especially around my mouth, I don't like eating because it just grosses me out. So obviously everyone around Halloween, if they have face paint on or anything, and especially when I was a lot younger, when I did, you know, it was weird, honestly. And so obviously around Halloween is when I would wear, you know, a lot of face paint, and as I just said, you know, Halloween. How long should we give it? Should we give us? Yeah. Change that. So, sorry, I'm just gonna. Oh, you can only play it certain ones that are over a certain. Okay. Sorry about that. So, all those different things in mind is the start of why I started to dislike Halloween. You know, the whole, I didn't like anything creepy to really begin with, so like stuff like food and stuff would just instantly gross me out. You know, like I said, anything that, so honestly, it was just always in me to dislike it. You know, seeing as I've just said about the whole, if there was a plate that had a pumpkin on it, I wouldn't eat just the normal food that was on it. You know, that in itself just already just has alarms and shows you that it's just, Halloween just ain't for me. I just don't like it, and I just can't really help that. So I don't know. It just, that's how it all started off. And like I said, I did used to have like parties and stuff, and I would sometimes dress up like, and have my friends come around, but it wasn't too bad to be out in the garden, literally probably where I am now before this room is built for me and for my gaming room and for my like recording room and slash studio or whatever. Before this was, you know, built, this is just a massive garden. I've still got my garden now, but it's just a lot less. So we would literally be in this very spot where I am right now talking to you guys, but I would be, you know, it would be Halloween, and we would be playing like different games and stuff like that. So it's very weird because it was just, I didn't mind it, but I just didn't also like it when I was a lot younger. And you know, that changed as I got older, and my hate for spiders started to become even more, and just my hate for anything scary. Like, also unpopular opinion, by the way, close your ears if you're sensitive to this sort of stuff, Halloween movies could literally vanish off the face of the earth, and I could not care less. Listen to this when I tell you, I've only ever watched 5 minutes, first 5-10 maximum at a push, the first 5-10 minutes of Shaun of the Dead. Do you know why? Because I turned it off, because I was too goddamn scared. Now you can call me a wimp, or you can call me whatever you want, any other words, right? But I just can't help it. I don't like anything really visually scary. Do you know what I mean? Like, audibly, I say this to a lot of people, like, audibly, I don't really get scared. Like, I could hit, if like I wasn't looking at anything, I could probably listen to a horror movie, it's fine, but I just don't like things that look scary, okay? The only thing I probably could listen to would be like a spider crawling or walking or making a noise with its mouth. Oh my god, that's creeping me out right now. So yeah, so that's why I hate you know, horror movies. Like, I can't watch them. Like I said, I've only watched 10 minutes of Shaun of the Dead at a push. You know what I mean? The Paranormal Activities, I could never watch. The scary movies, you know, never made it through. You know, I did watch Scary Movie 1, I did watch a little bit more of, but I still couldn't watch it all, especially the first time, without really wanting to turn it off and look away for like a few minutes or whatever, you know. And these are parodies, and these are like under the comedy section. These are meant to be funny, taking the mick, you know, out of these horror films, you know. But I can't do it, you know. I've never even watched any old classic horrors like Friday the 13th or Halloween or anything like that, you know. And when there was the whole killer clown epidemic thing, you can imagine me, you know, and it came out, and all you ever saw on the internet was just little clips of it, or people just trying to, you know, on social media trying to spook you or anything just by putting clips on. And it's just, you know, for other people they'd laugh it off, but me, it's like, why? I don't want to be visually terrified in a way. So, you know, it is annoying. It's very irritating, and I can't help it. Somebody tells me they go and watch a horror film, and I don't care, you know. Don't tell me about it. I don't want to know. I could not care less about your experience about going to the cinema and watching a Halloween. Like, who in their right mind? And I'm going to offend a lot of people, if not almost everybody that watches this video. You know, I can imagine how many people I would offend, but yeah, I always say to people, it is an exaggeration, because obviously I don't really mean it, because when I said I wouldn't be really friends with any people, but I always say, I'm sorry, if you go out your way and watch horror films at the cinema and you like horror films, and you go out your way to want to watch a horror film, you know, you're having a night out with, whether it's your friend, your partner, your siblings, your family, and the first thing that comes to your mind is, you know, especially even at home, you know, you're sitting on the couch, you know, having a bit of Netflix and chill maybe with a gal or a lad, you know, whatever, and the first thing that comes to your mind is a horror film. Like, I don't want to be your friend, you know. That is always like, geez, Raoul, calm down, you know. That's always like what I say to people. I don't 100% mean it, because, you know, I do have people that love horror films. Like my brother absolutely loves horror films. First thing he'll say is, if we get to watch a film together at the weekend, he's like, go and put horror on. I'm like, you've got to be joking. No, why do you want a horror on, you know? He does it all the time when he's on his own. So obviously I don't really mean it when I say I don't want to be your friend, but it's just me trying to exaggerate and almost trying to convert. I know it sounds a little bit like radical, but almost trying to convert people to try and see it from my point of view. Like, how? Like, I don't want to really be your friend if you like horror films, and if I'm being completely honest with you, you know, because I don't understand why somebody wants to go out their way to get scared. Like, it's called scared for a reason. You're not meant to enjoy it. Your brain is meant to want to avoid it as much as possible, but you're telling yourself that you want to watch a horror film because you like getting scared. Like, I don't get that. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously a lot of horror films as well are really, really over the top and are meant to be very far-fetched and everything now, and it's all about jump scares, you know. They don't make it seem real, like it could happen, do you know what I mean? So it's almost like, yeah, fine, you enjoy it, but, you know, if that was you, especially when they were much more real, if that was you, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't, you know, in that film you would not be enjoying it. Even though when they're enjoying it, they don't, even though when people are watching the film, they don't enjoy it because they're scared, but then you talk to them after and they, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I was dead scared, in a good way. Like, that's not good. Like, would you say that if it was, something tragic in real life happened and it was a murder or whatever, you managed for, someone no reason you managed to survive, you'd be like, oh my god, it was so scary, unbelievable, you should have been there. Like, I don't put like during whatever happens, you'd be absolutely frightened, for your life, but then you tell people after and it's almost like a cool thing that happened, or like, yeah, I was scared, how cool was that? Like, it's cool to be scared. Like, I don't get it. That's why I don't like it. Who in their right mind, and I know I'm offending a lot of people here that like horror, but who in their right mind wants to be frightened and feel like their security bubble has disappeared? That's why I don't get it. That's why I've never watched any, because I'm already a little bit of a, whatever word you can think of, scaredy cat, whatever. I have a very limited choice of words I can get away with saying on this site, but I'm sure you can think of certain words. You can call me whatever you want, scaredy cat, but wimp. But I'm already quite easily scared anyway, so and I don't have the biggest security blanket. So obviously when things like horror films come up and people try and get me to watch them, or people tell me to watch them, I'm like, nah, I don't even want to hear what it's about. Like, I just don't want to take your problems and talk about it to somebody that cares. Because listen, I don't, and it's really hard because I know a lot of people that will be watching this won't really like truly listen or probably not understand. So like that, I was just thinking about something. So I know a lot of people, like I said, won't really 100% understand, because I know myself, thinking back at what I've said so far about this subject, that I don't make the most sense, but I don't know how else to word it. When I've tried telling people how much I hate Halloween, I don't think they get it and how much it actually comes across. Like, sure, because I'm not saying obviously I'm 1 in 7 billion, there's nobody else like me, nobody else likes, nobody else dislikes Halloween. And I'm not saying I am the most severe person, I'm not saying like, I'm not saying there's nobody in this world that hates Halloween more than me. But I just think when I say these stories, or I say that I dislike Halloween, people are like, yeah, okay, it just gets a little bit scared at it or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And that's why every time I try and say as many stories as possible and try and give as many explanations and go into as much detail as I am doing, to really sell the point that I hate Halloween and I don't understand anybody that likes it. I was having a conversation with somebody and they were like, one of their daughters was born on Halloween pretty much, and I was like, and they were telling me how like special, they were like, I was talking about how much I hate Halloween and they were like, oh, see, I love Halloween, it's like so special to me. I was like, how? What's wrong with you? And she was like, she was almost a little bit offended, and I probably was a bit too abrupt how I said it. And I was like, well, it's my daughter's birthday, it's special, it's the day my daughter was born, it's very special. So I was like, can I stop you there? So Halloween isn't special to you, the 31st of October is. I said, let's get this straight, I don't have a problem with the 31st of October per se, I have a problem with Halloween, but that just happens to fall on the 31st of October. If Halloween was January, I wouldn't have a problem, I wouldn't be sitting here saying this right now about October and how much I hate it. I hate October because of Halloween, really. So, do you know what I mean? So like I said, I don't have a problem with the October 31st as such, and I don't really have a problem with October, but the reason I don't like October is because of this one day that's in it, which is Halloween. I shouldn't say this one day, because that's being hypocritical against what I just said, but against this one event that happens towards the end called Halloween. So do you know what I mean? So I was like, right, listen, so when this person said to me, I was like, listen, the reason I say this, somebody's calling me. Sorry, I've literally been gone for like 15-20 minutes, it's really weird to try and remember what I was talking about. All through my phone call I was like, what was I talking about, please remember. But like I said, I think I was literally just saying about you know what? I've lost it. Just come back to me a second when I've remembered. You know, through the years, like, as it's became more obvious that I, like, you know, despise Halloween and really don't like it, and, you know, people, like, close family members as well, have almost got out of the way and tried to scare me more because they know how much of an easy target I am. I mean, it all started, like, 5 years ago, or I'd say around about 5 years ago, maybe a little bit more, when, like, Halloween stopped being fun at all and I stopped doing anything. I mean, you know, it was already gonna not be so fun to me anyway, because, like I said before, I literally just had parties in my garden with my friends. We played little mini games, you know, like different things. We all wear like costumes, but just like little costumes, you know, nothing too scary, like all rags and everything, and you know, that was alright. I wasn't too bad with that. And even now, like, if I see some like costumes, like the other day I saw my godson and he'd just gone shopping with my nan for a costume. I was like, oh, talking to him or whatever, like, sort of, obviously he's only little, and his speech, I mean, he's nearly 4, which is absolutely mad to think about, but that's irrelevant. But he still, like, struggles with speaking quite a little bit. It's like he's not the greatest at speaking yet. He says a lot of noises, just no idea what he says. So I was like, oh, what costume have you got, Jay? And Nan, that's his name. And, you know, and my Nan, like, got out of the bag and was like, oh, we got a, just like a wolf costume, like a werewolf sort of costume or whatever. I was like, oh, let's have a look. Nan got it out of the bag and I was like, oh God, no, me, please don't get scared in front of him. I ain't going to be shown as a very good godfather if I'm getting scared of this costume. And like I said, she just pulled out, like, it was just, like I say, a normal sort of costume, like a one-piece sort of thing that you'd expect just a kid to wear, sort of all ripped in the arms and a little bit of blood, and like a wolf's chest. And then he had like this little silly, like, plastic, is it plastic? I don't know, sort of plasticky sort of mask that just has like a little band that goes around your head, you know, like makeup. You know, you see all the girls and they look so good in terms of like professional, how well that they look like something from the demonic land itself, you know, which freaks me out, which is one of the reasons I have trust issues, and one of the reasons why I hate it more and more every year, because these girls, especially teenagers, get way too good at making themselves look like they're something they're not. I mean, I'm not even talking about, you know, doing the makeup and dolling themselves up and stuff like that. I'm talking the opposite direction and going from a 10 to 0 straight away by making it look like, you know, they got one white eye and scratched down the face and all blood hanging from their neck and guts and gory and all that sort of stuff. So I'm like, Jesus, no thank you, no thank you, you know. So that doesn't help the fact that everybody loves to show how good they are at looking like they are a living, breathing zombie. Some girls obviously don't need makeup. Oh, savage. But you know, so he got out like this little mask, you know, wasn't too bad. And like I said, didn't bother me, didn't scare me. I still like frowned at the thought of Halloween. Like inside, I was like, oh, great. And Nan was like, he's going to a Halloween party later, like at his nursery or whatever. And like she told me later on he won like best costume. I was like really proud. I was like, oh, go on. I was like, but inside I was like, how trash must their costumes been? No one clearly put any effort in, because he literally just had like something that he saw in like the co-op or whatever, just a one-piece suit that he just put on. But apparently he embraced the role. He was walking around like he was a werewolf or a zombie all through the night at this party apparently. So that, like I said, it didn't really bother me. But even then, like, when it's something that doesn't scare me instantly, like, this is how much I hate Halloween. This is what I'm trying to put across. Like, even when it doesn't scare, when I see something that doesn't scare me, I'm still like, ugh, Halloween. And you know, I just rant about it for absolutely ages. I can't think of anything else because of how much I hate it. You know, and I have people that come and see me like every night quite late on, and they, you know, and as soon as October comes around or the end of September, like, I literally, the 1st of November, I say like, oh God, it's 364 days until Halloween, or like, that's how bad I am. Like, I'm like, great, it's this many days away, why can't it be, 5,792 days away till I have to experience this again? Give me a break, please. And this, end of September comes around, I'm like, oh god, it's less than 30 days away, or the start of October, that is. So it's just always there, it's not something I just put on. People are like, oh, I don't like Halloween because I'm a bit scared of spiders, so I'm pretending to be like an odd one out. Don't like horror films, don't like Halloween, trick-or-treating, I was never into that. Just from an early age, I just never really liked it, and like I said, going back to my point, because obviously I got a bit sidetracked, about 5 years ago is when it all started, really, and I just naturally started liking it less and less because, like I said, my friends that used to come for like parties, we grew up, and grew out of having Halloween parties in your back garden. People going trick or treating. I wasn't a massive fan of going outside and see other people's costumes, people that actually put effort in, and when I was a lot younger, and still now, which is weird seeing as I'm coming out the other end of the tunnel, but I have a fear for teenagers, and I'm not even joking, and especially when I was a lot younger. Now it doesn't bother me as much, but I saw like 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds when I was like 9, and I'd go the opposite direction as fast as I could. So going out and seeing teenagers who are already quite intimidating to me, seeing them in Halloween gear. So when, like I said, my friends would go out and do trick or treat, and I'd be like, I'm gonna stay at home, And then it was all my younger brother's friends that would come out and have parties, and I'd have to hang out with them, and it was like, yeah, still wasn't a massive fan of it though. So obviously, I started liking Halloween a bit less anyway, just because I didn't have as many friends that I was spending Halloween with anyway. So yeah, and then like I said, 5 years ago was like one of the first 5, maybe 6 years ago, we'll say. Like I said, I was 10, maybe 11 when we stopped having like parties and stuff like that. And my friends were becoming more rebellious in terms of wanting to knock on other people's doors. So we decided we'd go somewhere for Halloween, which I was already against, because like I said, I hated leaving the house as it is. So going somewhere that is purely made for Halloween, no thanks. Everyone's going to be in costume. And even worse, we went to like a hall quite close by. It's like quite a famous hall, but I think like it's got a history behind it. Like lots of popular people, I'm pretty sure, like used to live there, and not popular, I should say. A lot of high up people used to live there, like kings or queens or dukes, and and earls and different people like that. I'm pretty sure used to live there. I don't know if I really should look at the history of it more. I mean, it's very close to me, but they so I don't know if anyone lives there now, if it's just like an old house, and it's got quite a haunted vibe to it as it is, but they always, every year they have like a Halloween event that goes on that, it's not as, good as Scarefest and all the different other places, which don't get me started on all them. Why you would want to go there and get grabbed by zombies left, right and centre, and people chase at you with chainsaws, like the ones at Blackpool and different places like that. Don't get me started on people that go there and think it's a fun time. You're crazy. Literally, what is wrong with you? You deserve to be in the undergrounds of hell. I'm being mean to a lot of people this episode, just in general, just anybody that has any sort of nice opinions on Halloween. And pretty much, so we had to go to this place, and they had a ghost train there as well, which I didn't go on, but so as soon as I come in and I saw there was not actually that many people in costume, to be honest, that I can remember, like people that just went, to be fair. So it was alright on that part, and like I said, it wasn't too bad at first. I did see this ghost train, I was like, well, we're not going on that. That's straight up. But then my nan and my family, everyone we went with, obviously didn't want to just stay outside, which I was fine at doing. I was like, just stay outside, we don't want to need to go anywhere near the spooky haunted house that they've got a massive thing on for. And I was like, nah, we're going to go around the hall or whatever. And like I said, there's loads of stewards there. You go up like these steps, and pretty much you go through this haunted house, and like I said, it's not like you're not just left all by yourself. It's like a tour, you know, you have lots of people in front and behind you, all with families that are walking about. You have like stewards around every corner, so you know, it's not like a proper one like SHAREfest where you can just go in by yourself and you're just literally with all these crazy people that want to kill you. So you know, and I think it just started it for me, just having people, you know, like I said, I don't like being visually scared, so that's why I never liked horror films, and it was like a horror film come to life. There was something that I did not like around every single corner. Surprisingly, no spiders, anything like that. I would have freaked out. No, like big scary spiders that they had, but it was literally people behind curtains and behind doors. As soon as you went in, they jumped out in you. There was like witches, zombies, all different stuff like that. And I just remember there was one bit as well, there was a really narrow like corridor, and there was like a black sheet to your left with all these hands, sort of like, they couldn't touch her, but it was just how you didn't expect it. You were like looking at the walls and this black curtain just looked normal, whereas really there was loads of people standing behind it, and the room was much bigger, but you couldn't tell because of this black curtain, but it made it look like it was part of the room. And like I say, you'd be walking around and you'd be walking along and all these hands would just like be there and they'd jump out, and you wouldn't see the people, just the hands, and it was just like, nah, too creepy. They couldn't touch you because it was quite a few feet away, so it's not even like they clawed at you a little bit, you know. There was no, but it was just the thought of it, you know. And they were all like quite small rooms for a big house, or quite small rooms. You know, you go around a corner and someone is just behind the door, or you go into a room and there's like a witch and she's cooking up stuff and she gets like right into your face, you know. And it was horrible. I hated it. You know, there was one incident, looking back, it's quite funny now. There was like one guy, he jumped around the corner and it terrified one of my family members. They almost fell back and like fell on another one of my family members. And then now my nan knew that like I was absolutely terrified, and she knew it was a massive mistake, and so she had to go in front of me, and like, because she's not too bothered about it really. When she was younger, she used to love horror films, but I don't really mind that as much, because horror films used to be about like the plot, and sort of like it was almost a thriller but with some like scary sort of parts, almost real life scary things, which wasn't too bad, you know. And then so she knew that there was something wrong, and she would like get a little bit frightened or whatever, and she'd think it was all a bit of a joke. And then when she knew that like I hated it, so she went in front, and every time someone jumped, she had to like peek around the corner before and like get herself scared or whatever, so she could say to him like, you know, like, my grandson's coming through or whatever, he's absolutely terrified, please don't jump out at him. And there was one guy that like understood, and like I think he didn't understand because I was coming through straight away, because he was so hidden, and you if you were there you'd understand, like you think, how on earth has he got behind there or whatever. So my nan didn't think of anything, and he jumped out and like straight at me, and I was crying and sobbing, and he was like I'm so sorry, and things like this. And I was like, my nan and all my family were like, oh, it's okay. Then there was this other woman, bit of a bitch, and she was like dressed in this witch costume, and she was stirring like this cauldron, and I was like, can you not? And she was literally like coming up in my face and was like, oh, do you want to try some of this, or do you want me to put you in the cauldron? I was there sobbing my heart out, not being able to do anything, and she was like, you know, it's experiences is why I hate Halloween to the extent I do now. Do you know what I mean? And what made it worse, we got to the end of it, and I know I haven't talked about this, I don't think, in a Speke Speaks, but a lot of people that you know this anyway. So I got to the end of the tour. Basically, there was a steward there, and there was a second floor upstairs. Well, obviously I can't get upstairs. And then there was the exit, but the exit was like a fire exit for like the hall's fire exit, and it had like these massive steps, and there was no way of getting out that I could get out. So what did we have to do? We had to go through the whole thing again, and we had to go past, and you know, everything we'd already seen, and everyone like shielded around me. You know, I was already claustrophobic, so walking against loads of people that were coming the other way, that were getting jumped out, and it was just a horrible experience, you know what I mean? And we still, like, when we got out, stayed there and walked around other bits and like the outside sort of haunted garden sort of bit. We didn't have people jumping out, but it was still just an eerie feel, do you know what I mean? Even though there was people around you. you know, and then a few days later, my uncle wanted to take me trick-or-treating, and I was like, you know what, after what I've been through, trick-or-treating doesn't sound too bad. Like, okay, we weren't even going to wear costumes, we were just going to go around, and it just sounds very, very silly, but I had to go. I went round there, had this lollipop in my mouth just because I didn't think I had anything to eat, and he was behind like the bin, and I had like this lollipop, and he jumped out, and I almost choked like on this lollipop because he terrified me so much, and he knew, and you know, just little things like that, and it just really, for me anyway, just being so helpless and as vulnerable and easy I am to scare. I just think loads of different stuff like that just happening all in one just made it so much more worse. And there were so many other stories from 5 years to now of just like bad years that I've just had where just, you know, but like I said, we'll be here all day, and I've already gone over so much. I've already took so much more longer than I thought I was going to do. I don't want to completely bore you, so but just pretty much to sum it up, I hate Halloween, and if you like it, then what is wrong with you, really? But no, so that is actually why, linking back into the channel, I don't know if I've said this, but that's why my gaming experience, what am I talking about? My like 24-hour charity live stream, jeez, voice break. My 24-hour charity live stream that I'm doing is on Halloween. You know, 10 AM Halloween morning, 31st of October, 10 AM, all the way to 10 AM, 1st of November. That is literally because I get the exclusive. I don't get to see anybody, nobody comes around to show, because, you know, other years, like, I've been in my room, been like, tell no one to come and bother me, and my brother still, who's only like 15, 16 months younger than me, still loves to, like, dress up or whatever, and, you know, as the years have gone by and I've gone through more events, more stuff has bothered me, do you know what I'm saying? So like before, you know, a few years ago, what he wore might not have bothered me than what it did last year, for example. I don't want to go in a specific example because, like I said, I don't want to be here for ages and bore you, but yeah, so I was like, you know what, when I came to do this thing, I thought I'm either going to do it on a Saturday, because obviously with school and everything, or shall I wait until the half term? And I was quite busy the Saturdays leading up to the half term, which are on now, like today. You know, and I was planning on doing it today, and the person who I organised what day I was doing it with said, you know, you're going to be in half term then. I was like, so you can do it any day? And I was like, wait, we're away for Halloween? And they were like, yeah. So I was like, right, I'm doing it on Halloween, because then no one gets to see me. I get to say to people, like, listen, I need to focus on doing this. You know, obviously I'm doing it for the Macmillan and raising awareness, but it's also so I can be like, well, don't interrupt me, don't see me, because I have to do this charity live stream. Do you know what I mean? So people are like, won't bother me, I don't have to see anything about Halloween, I'll just be playing games. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this detailed thingy Maduhika Speaks video that we did today. Hope you enjoyed the conversation that we talked about. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the return of the Speke Speaks. Like I said earlier in the episode, I'm going to be trying doing this at least once a month. And also, I think I forgot to say this at the start, like, I've been recording for like over an hour now, it's really confusing. But like I said I don't think I said it at the start, but I meant to, because this series means so much to me. I've got my own little intro for Speke Speaks. Obviously I've got my whole Jinx gaming intro, which obviously you see at the start of every video, which I talked about, but because this is such a special series to me, I want to have my own sort of this is Speke Speaks sort of thing at the start. So obviously I'm saying this before I've even done it or tried to do an intro for it. I'm not even giving it a go. So, you know, I have no idea what it's going to look like, but obviously you're going to see this after, so you're going to know, or it might not even be there at all, depending on how well I can make it look. But anyway, I've been your host Jinx. Thanks ever so much for watching this episode of Speke Speaks. Let your thoughts be heard in the comment box down below. I've been your host Jinx, and peace. Bye for now.